Hello everyone, it's Cleo here, and today I'll be giving you my review of the entire second chapter of My Little Pony Make Your Mark. This is to say that this video will have spoilers for all 8 episodes, so if that's something you want to avoid, go back now. Episode 1 opens up with it being Sunny's birthday. Izzy is being creative by making some oddball tower of garbage for Sunny's present. She then settles on some little accessory that Sunny puts in her hair. Hitch is taking care of the very demanding baby dragon, and Zip is just constantly taking notes for some reason. None of these things sound important, but sadly they are the main details for this episode. Meanwhile, the big baddie Opaline is having her hench pony Misty spy on the main 5. Also meanwhile, the Earth Pony magic is making fruit just absolutely massive. For some reason, Pip sees it fit to try and make the present Izzy made for Sunny go viral on the internet. This stresses Izzy out when everyone in the town of 20 ponies wants one. Pip sings a song saying that it's fine dude, just chill. Perhaps unsurprisingly, this doesn't work. Opaline gives a sudden exposition dump that she saved Misty as a filly, and we're left to assume that's why the sweet-natured unicorn stays with this evil bee and puts up with, basically being enslaved. They're basically trying to find out about the magic, why it's back, and how it works. Opaline wants more magic power, and Misty just wants her cutie mark, because for some reason she doesn't have one. Why? We don't know. And don't worry, in the whole 8 episodes, we never get an answer to that. Sunny is making smoothies. She spends most of the time on the show just doing that. Izzy goes back to Bridalwood, which we don't see by the way, and comes back with a souped up bike for crafting, coming to a toy store near you. Opaline leaves a magic mirror for Sunny so she can use it to spy on her, even though she was doing that pretty effectively before? Not sure why she needs this compact mirror magic, and we certainly don't know how she got it or made it. Episode 2 is all about Hitch trying to control the absolutely insane magic the Earth Ponies are running amok with. I mean, it really seems more of a hazard to life than it seems a blessing, but nonetheless, he's painted as being the unreasonable one for wanting to tame it. Sprout is back, but don't get excited. He doesn't get to do or say anything much at all. He just makes this giant berry that accidentally terrorizes the town. He just can't stop himself. Back with the bad guys, they're spying on Sunny and complaining that she doesn't use the mirror much, despite the fact that when she closes it, they get a bird's eye view of everything. Hitch gets so fed up with the insane magic that he decides to remove the Earth Pony crystal from the rest of them. He changes his mind before doing it, and then for some reason, a hologram of Twilight Sparkle appears before them. She explains that if they're seeing this, that means Earth Pony magic has been activated. How she knew this would happen, or how she made it appear just at this time and not when the magic first started, we don't know, but she goes on to explain that there was a pony, presumably Opaline, who wanted to steal all the magic for herself. She put the magic in the crystals, somehow, to protect it from this evil alicorn, but now that it's been released, they are exposed to the world again. This is the best part of the series, but it's the only time we see Twilight. The Earth Pony magic is even more out of control because apparently suppressing it makes it go haywire, so the resolution is to just let everyone use their magic. Seems like a problem, but okay. Episode 3 is actually the strongest episode. I think it's because the Pegasus sisters are actually the best characters in the series. Not in the film, but in the series. It's some special royal portrait day, and while Pip is into it, Zip isn't. The evil mustache-twirling Opaline, for some reason, decides to try and lure them into a trap by tempting them with some rare flower. The sisters go for it, and while they fall out a bit on the way, they make up in the end and get freed from the trap by the annoying kid characters who are just, everywhere in this show. They just show up everywhere. The story of this episode isn't much really, but it's better executed than the other episodes, and feels more like a proper story with a beginning and an end and some progression. Episode 4 begins with a really smack-you-in-the-face message to eat more fruits and vegetables. Sunny has all of a sudden decided that everyone should be eating better, and she's on a mission to annoy them so much they'll do what she says just to shut her up. She quickly finds that they're happy to follow her every command when she's an alicorn, for some reason. Anyway, Sunny realizes she doesn't like this, and wants everyone to follow her commands regardless of her appearance. At the same time, Rita Repulsa decides that she wants to lure Sunny Skywalker to the dark side. To do this, she casts a spell on the compact mirror to make herself appear as some demented version of Sunny as a reflection. Sunny, oddly, falls for this, but the plot fails regardless. Meanwhile, Pip is trying desperately to get popularity back on her social media by any means necessary. #me. #relatable. Back with Darth Alicorn, since this plan has failed, she's back to her original plan of just stealing the magic, so nothing really happened there. Episode 5 is just all about how Hitch and Sunny think they have way harder lives than each other. Of course, the whole message is that they're both equally as challenging and important, and the way this episode shows us this is by having the baby dragon's all-powerful magic somehow swap their cutie marks and therefore their attitudes. I mean, I would say that Sunny very clearly has the easier job. She blends smoothies, whereas Hitch seems to have to run an entire town in every detail all by himself. Opaline has a new amazing plan as always. This time she sends a hologram rat into the house to find out about the magic. From this, she finds out about the lantern that has some kind of new magic somehow. I don't really know how. This episode is so boring, oh my gosh. Episode 6 is where Misty finally meets the main characters, finally. She's been sent to find the lantern, so when the now completely insane Izzy practically forces her to have a sleepover with her, it's a good excuse to go and find it. Apparently unicorns have really specific sleepover traditions, and that part of the story just goes on and on, while Misty is trying and failing to find the lantern that's right there in plain sight. The only thing interesting in this story is that there are 2 different versions of events about what happened to the magic. Sunny says that in Twilight's day, some Earth pony got hurt by a unicorn, and this somehow triggered such an intense race war that all 3 pony races went to live separately in the towns we see in the movie. Twilight created the crystals to protect them somehow. To say this story is woolly doesn't quite begin to describe it. Misty then tells her story from Opaline's point of view. She says that most of the magic belonged to an alicorn queen. Queen of what? And somehow Twilight stole her magic from her. She then created an enchanted invisibubble around Equestria, so Opaline couldn't find the magic or the ponies ever again. Episode 7 is where we finally get to the part of the plot where Misty manages to steal the lantern, but for some reason buries it outside instead of just taking it away. Zip is busy being the worst detective maybe ever, and Pip for some reason then steals it because she seems to be having fun. This is the weakest excuse for extending a plot maybe ever. Eventually, Zip gets that Misty probably stole it, and then Pip reveals that she did. So Zip just drops it, just when something interesting was going to happen. This show makes sure it doesn't. Other than this, the episode is just such a drag of boring searching for the lantern. At the end, Opaline horribly emotionally abuses Misty some more, and then comes to the conclusion that the next step to take is to steal the baby dragon. Aha. The 8th and final episode is pretty much just a complete repeat of the previous one. Misty kidnaps the dragon. Another search party's out for him this time instead of the lantern. Boring antics ensue. And finally, Misty, instead of taking the baby, takes some of his fire in a jar instead. This gives Opaline a power boost, but apparently it's not enough. Misty gets abused some more, and the ponies are just like la-di-da, the end. Yeah, that's it. This series ends the same way it starts. Virtually nothing has changed in a whole 8 episodes of story. It's so repetitive that I forgot which episode was which immediately after watching them. It has more interesting moments and we know it has potential, but it's so squandered by very amateur writers. I can see they're going for more of a preschool kind of vibe, but they're not even committing to it. Some of the language being used isn't the vocabulary you use for that age group, so I just don't know who it's trying to appeal to. Opaline raises so many questions, and Twilight being there raises even more. And the show answers not a single one of them. I know everyone will say in the comments that these questions will be answered in a later season, but I think at least one question should have been answered in 8 episodes, or at very least the story should have progressed somehow. To me, this whole show is just so disappointing because I know it could be so much better. It needed to have a lot more plot than it has, and have about 99% less random chasing around. Most of the episodes are just the ponies chasing around after someone or something. The baby is supposed to be cute, but he's really just more annoying, and so are the random kids. Sunny is just toxic positivity, and with that, it removes anything interesting about her. When someone is just nice all the time, it removes possibilities for progress, because they're already perfect. We all at least wanted to see Misty leave her slave driver, but she doesn't, and it's just another letdown. She's cute and actually has room for an interesting backstory to be revealed, but it's all just pushed to one side. I didn't go into watching this expecting anything any better, but I still do wish it would use its full potential. Of course, I'll be making lots of theory videos trying to tie this into G4 in the future, but before then, I would love to know in the comments below what you think to all of this series, what questions you have, what you'd like to have answered, and especially what videos you'd like to see from me in the future about it. Anyway, that's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please do not forget to give it a like and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.